Night settled over the city with an unsettling stillness, too quiet for a place where spiritual foundations had just been shaken. Elias sat on the floor of his small living room, back against the couch, Bible open but unread. The pages fluttered slightly from the fan humming on low, but he remained unmoving, lost in a swirl of guilt, clarity, fear, and something unexpected on purpose. Not the purpose of preaching on a stage, not the purpose of building a church brand, not the purpose of inspiring crowds. A deeper purpose, a quieter purpose, a painful, purifying purpose. Hours earlier, Jesus had whispered into his spirit, "The next chapter is coming." Elias could still feel the weight of those words lingering like smoke. What next chapter? Wasn't his fall enough destruction? Wasn't Jonathan's confession enough proof that something deeper was wrong in the spiritual landscape? He closed his eyes, exhaling slowly. "Lord, what more could you possibly show me?" The question hung in the air, heavy and unanswered. A knock jolted him from his thoughts. He hesitated before getting up and opening the door. It wasn't an elder. It wasn't Jonathan. It wasn't Grace. It was a stranger, a man in his 50s, clothes worn, eyes sunken and tired, holding a battered cap in his hands. "Are you?" the man asked softly. "The pastor from Faith River?" Elias froze. "I'm not a pastor anymore." The man lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. His voice cracked. "I didn't know where else to go." Something inside Elias softened. "Please come in." The man stepped inside slowly, awkwardly, as if stepping into someone else's grief made him nervous. Elias gestured for him to sit. The man perched on the edge of the couch, twisting his cap in his hands. "My name's Marcus," he said quietly. I used to go to your church. Not often, just when I could." Elias nodded. Marcus swallowed hard. "I heard what happened to you. I don't want details. I ain't here to judge you. Truth be told." He hesitated. "I came because I think I'm next." Elias felt his breath catch. Marcus rubbed his face. "Look, I know you pastors, everyone sees your sin, 'cause you're up there. People expect you to be perfect. But me?" He gave a bitter laugh. "Nobody expects anything of a man like me. So nobody sees when I fall." He looked up, eyes full of a pain Elias recognized instantly, not prideful temptation, but survival-twisted desire. Marcus continued, voice shaking. "I got temptations too. Not because I feel powerful, but because I feel empty, poor, alone, forgotten." Something in Elias's chest tightened painfully. Marcus kept talking. "You know what poverty does, Pastor?" Elias didn't answer. Marcus did. "It makes you hungry in ways people with money don't understand." A tear slipped down Elias's cheek. Not for himself this time, for Marcus. "I lost my job 2 months ago," Marcus whispered. "My wife left a year before that. I'm drowning in bills. And last week," he wiped his eyes, "last week I almost did something real stupid. Real sinful. I ain't proud of it." Elias leaned forward. "Marcus, what happened?" Marcus shook his head. "There's a woman down the hall at the shelter. She's lonely. I'm lonely. And for a moment I convinced myself that maybe we could comfort each other." He broke down. But it wasn't comfort. It was lust. I knew it. I felt it. I felt it pulling me like a rope around my throat. He looked up at Elias with raw desperation. People talk about lust like it's always glamorous, secret affairs, flattery, applause. But for people like me, lust ain't glamorous. It ain't pride. It's hunger. Hunger for touch. Hunger for someone to look at you like you matter. He whispered, and hunger is dangerous? Elias felt something inside him shatter some old layer of self-righteousness that hadn't fully died even after his fall. Marcus went on. Pastor, I'm scared of myself. When I heard your story, it didn't make me judge you. It made me see me. His voice trembled. I thought, if a man like you can fall, what chance does a man like me have? Elias wiped his eyes. Marcus, Jesus didn't come to me to punish me. He came to save me from myself. Marcus stared at him, desperate. Do you think he could come for someone like me? Someone who ain't special? Someone no one even knows? Elias swallowed hard. Marcus, Jesus goes after the forgotten first. The ones the world ignores. The ones temptation hunts because life didn't give them safety. Marcus trembled. But how do I fight? How do I stay clean when everything in me feels empty? Elias felt the Holy Spirit fill his chest like warm oil, gentle, steady, clear. You don't fight lust by trying to be stronger, Elias said softly. You fight by letting Jesus fill the emptiness that lust tries to use against you. Marcus blinked, tears falling. Do you believe that? I do, Elias whispered, because he told me something last night. He took a deep breath. He said this wasn't just about pastors. He said he's cleansing his house, and he started with me. But he isn't stopping there. Marcus looked frightened. What does that mean? It means, Elias said slowly, that the same Jesus who confronted me is coming for people like you too. Not to expose you publicly, not to shame you, but to save you before the hunger destroys you. Marcus broke completely and sobbed into his hands. Elias put a hand on his shoulder. For the first time in years, he wasn't counseling someone from a place of superiority. He was counseling from the ground with dirt on his face, ashes on his clothes, and humility in his bones. The two men cried and prayed together on the worn-out couch, one fallen pastor, one poor man drowning in loneliness. And Jesus, though unseen, was unmistakably present. Later that night, after Marcus left with a promise to return, Elias stepped outside his apartment. The streetlights flickered weakly. Wind rustled through trash bins and alleyways. The city felt bruised. He looked up at the night sky. Lord, what are you doing? Elias asked into the darkness. A stillness fell, one unlike anything earlier. A deep, heavy silence, thick with divine intent, dot in that holy stillness. A whisper pressed against his spirit. You have seen the lust of shepherds. Now you will see the lust of the forgotten, the hunger of the poor, the pain behind temptation. Elias felt chills crawl up his neck. This is the next story. Elias, and you will walk with them, listen to them, and witness what lust becomes when it grows in the shadows of poverty. He swallowed hard. Why me, Lord? The answer came quietly, because you fell from pride. Now you will learn compassion. He bowed his head, trembling. A new chapter had begun. Not in the pulpit, not in the spotlight, But in the places no one sees, among the broken, the hungry, the forgotten dot, and as the wind swept through the empty street, Elias whispered, "Lord, I'll follow you there." The night answered with a solemn calm, as though heaven itself was turning the page. And the next story, the story of lust among the poor, was about to begin.